Welcome to Future Perfect. My name is John Mulligan.
And I'm Sarah Pfaff.
Future Perfect is a two-part course on the politics of science fiction geared towards advanced high school students, which will be taught this summer at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island.
Speculative fiction asks the question, what if, about some set of social circumstances? One literary critic, Frederick Jameson, says that by forcing us to imagine different social circumstances, speculative fiction helps us to see that our political realities are made by humans, and therefore that they can be changed.
Jameson borrows a phrase to get this idea across. Speculative fiction places real toads in imaginary gardens. The imaginary garden, that's the world of the novel, which is different than our world. The real toads, that's you and me.
Consider, for example, the classic sci-fi film, Blade Runner. This is placing a real toad in an imaginary garden. In it, a hard-boiled cop named Deckard chases down incredibly clever and dangerous androids that try to pass as humans on the streets of future LA. He's a tough guy, but he's washed up. He's out of the game. Finished. Until, that is, he falls in love with one of his targets, an android woman. She melts his resolve, and he makes her feel human. In other words, no matter what you change about the human condition, or which gardens you put these toads into, people are still able to feel love for one another, and love conquers all.
But there's another way of answering this question, what are the politics of science fiction? This way puts imaginary toads in real gardens, so to speak. So it turns the idea of speculative fiction on its head. Instead of asking, what would happen to us if X and Y changed, we ask, what would we have to do to make X and Y change? This kind of science fiction doesn't care about human nature or anything else like that. It's obsessed with problem solving, with finding novel ways of making the ordinary bend completely out of shape. Now consider the book that Blade Runner was based on. This is called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and it's written by Philip K. Dick. In fact, it's the book that our critic Frederick Jameson was writing about when he wrote that bit about the toads in the gardens. And interestingly enough, it happens to end with an android frog in an artificial garden. This book is interested in what it would take to change the way we relate to the non-human world. And its answer is a bleak one. It seems to think that we can only feel for the non-human world when it's too late for us to save it.
In one scene, Philip Dick shows an android picking the legs off a spider. He pulls them off one by one, leaving the spider with 7, 6, 5, then 4 legs. The android seems to think this makes the spider more efficient. And each time, the spider's allowed to walk around a little bit. It's hard to do for a spider with 4 legs, but it manages. But then the android picks off another leg, leaving the spider with only 3. A nearby human takes pity and washes the spider down the drain to put it out of its misery. The question is, at what point does a spider stop being a spider? The human seems to think that the answer is that a spider is only a spider down to 4 legs. He saves the spider only at the point when it can't walk anymore, when it isn't recognizable as a spider anymore.
Our course will be asking this question, what are the politics of science fiction, about many different novels and short stories.
From Thomas More's Utopia in the 1600s all the way to Star Trek and beyond.
You bring the toads.
We bring the gardens.